New concerns raised about the nation's cybersecurity. A new survey of the operators of power plants and other critical infrastructure finding that half were infiltrated by hackers. The report coming just days after the websites of 49 House and Senate committee members were hacked after President Obama's State of the Union address. I should say those were House and not Senate. So what needs to be done to keep the country's critical network safe? Hemu Nigam is the former Department of Justice federal prosecutor for online crimes, who is now the chief security officer for online properties at News Corporation, our parent company. Good to see you. If hackers were able to sabotage, let's say, for example, power grids, water and sewage systems, maybe even oil and gas companies, what would the fallout look like?
Well, this is one of those things. Let me just put something in perspective here. This is like in the real world, there's physical security threats that have existed for many, many years. And in the online world, that's also now happening. And in fact, the two worlds have merged into one. And so in the physical world, you look at the nation's capital, other places around the country, and there's metal detectors. What you need now is metal detectors for the digital or the cyber world.
Because if we suffered a massive attack, you're talking about what? Widespread power outages, floods, sewage spills, oil leaks, not to mention things like stolen files, spying emails, and so forth, right? I mean, just wreaking havoc on America.
Well, exactly. What this really should be seen as is a big wake-up call, not just for the government, but also for everyone at home, people who are watching. And it's a wake-up call because, for example, I'll take what happened with the Congressional websites and then compare that to the power grids. There's black hat hackers in this world. They come in three colors: black hat, gray hat, and white hat. Black hat hackers are the criminals who are doing these types of things. Gray hat used to do that, but now they want to do good for society, and they've turned good. And white hat hackers are the professionals, the security folks out there who know how to stop these attacks, who know what to do. Yeah. And what the government needs to do is open up its arms and embrace the white hat community and say, come on in, attack our systems, do penetration on it, find the problems, and solve them. And that could be done on the power grids and the SCADA systems and all the different things that you've just talked about.
Well, and as I've been reading, utilities are increasingly using mainstream software. They're connecting their operations to the internet so that technicians can service problems remotely, which sounds like a great idea. But is that part of the problem that therefore leaves us vulnerable?
Well, what I was saying before was the world is now interconnected. Online and offline, they've become one. And that's a perfect example of where these problems can arise. And that's why it's also a wake-up call for consumers at home, because your computer, if it's vulnerable, can be used in one of these systems since you're all connected together. So what we have to do is look at that and say, what can be done about it, even for the consumer at home. For example, you can make sure that your security software is up to date. You're using antivirus software, firewalls are turned on. And I'll give you a great thing that we all probably will connect with. When you see the security update button come on, you see a remind me later button next to it. And what do? You press that remind me later button. On the other hand, in the physical world, you wouldn't do that. If somebody said, hey, you left your lights on and you left your door unlocked, what would you do? You'd say, I'll be right back. You'd run out there and lock your door and come back in. We have to start as a society, government and public, private sector, all of us together have to start thinking about security the same exact way we have thought about it in the physical world, because frankly, they're one and the same.
Right.
And there's definitely things that can be done here.
All right. And we need to embrace the white hats, because there are always going to be the black hats, extortionists and foreign governments who want to do us harm. Hemu Nigam, thank you very much for being with us. Fascinating topic.
Thanks for having me.
Well, injury